Welcome to another video from oorail. In this video we're going to show you how to wire up a DC controller. What we've got is this third rail track that we've added here. You've probably seen it in the background of some videos, but I actually finally got some time to finish the track, so that entire section of the layout is, at least the first phase of it, is complete. So this ultimately will be the third rail track. So I do have the Pico rail chairs and the track to go on that, so I'll show you that in a future video. But for this video I'm going to show you, since I was going to wire it up anyway, I was going to show you how I wire things up. It's pretty straightforward. You need something to cut some wires, so I'm using my Swiss Army knife. You're going to need some kind of soldering iron, a wet soldering iron sponge, some solder, and some solder flux. You're also going to need some wire, and in this case I'm actually using a spare Bachmann controller. I got this off an Irish Steam set that I bought at Hobby Lobby a few years ago, and I've got two of them. One of them I actually use for the main rails here, and then it's pretty straightforward. It comes with a power pack and an adapter kind of cable. So if I pull these out of the bag, you can see that there's a pretty simple, straightforward adapter. You got this audio jack type connector that plugs into the controller, and then this that's supposed to plug into the rail. We're actually going to cut this off and solder it directly to the new wires we're adding to the track. And then it comes also with a power transformer, but you could technically do this with any kind of DC controller. I'm temporarily going to wire these down underneath the baseboard, but ultimately I'm going to put in a switch so that if I want to power some of this stuff off of DCC, I can, by just simply flicking a switch and wiring up a DCC controller. All the track that I have between the loops have isolated. They're all isolated from each other, so I'm using insulated rail joiners or insulated fish plates, so I can technically use the DCC controller on at least one of the lines. So at that I'm going to go and cut some wire, and then we'll show you how to solder this up and give it a quick test. Okay, so I've stripped off 2 lengths of wire here, and what we're going to do is basically use a soldering iron to tin these 2 locations here on the rail, on the outside of the and the inside here, and then we're going to go and attach the wire to it. So the first thing we're going to do is take the solder flux, and as you can see, it's just some goo. And instead of messing up a screwdriver, I'm going to use a stick here. We'll just take a very small amount and apply it to the fish plate / side of the rail here. And I'm going to do the same thing to the other side, like so. And we can just apply that like so on there. We want to try to avoid getting it on the top of the rail. And then we're going to take the solder here, and we'll move the flux out of the way. I'll try to do this so that you can see it on the camera. Move this out of the way. And I'll move. Oh, just realized that was hot. That's alright. Okay, so hopefully you should be able to see this. So take this and solder it on here. Okay, so hopefully you can see there. Let's try to zoom in a little bit. see the solder joint right there. So the next thing we're going to do is do basically the same thing to this piece of wire. So we'll zoom back out so you can see. And I'm just going to take the solder flux. I'm going to cheat and just dip it in there. And then we'll just grab the soldering iron and put some solder on it. Get it away from the track too. Hold this up, you might be able to see it. Basically, make sure that the soldering iron has done its job here. Now we're going to route this one under the track. Use the other one. So you can see here we have it routed underneath the rail. So we're going to tin this and then attach it to the rail. So start off by getting a little bit of solder flux and sticking it on the wire, like so. That's normal way of soldering this, but I'm trying to do this so you can see it on the camera. And then we're going to let this, we're going to melt the solder, heat it up here, bring it home. And we're going to bend this back around. Now let's zoom this in. And we'll basically repeat the same thing for the other side. So there you have the completed 2 wires there, and what we'll do next is we'll tidy this up a little bit and then hook it up to the controller and see if it works. So here we go. So to attach the controller, we're simply going to take the penknife and cut these 2 wires off, strip them back, solder them to the other end of the 2 wires we just installed on the rail, and then plug it into the mains and hope it works. So here we go. So you can see here we have used some electrical tape to conceal the wires there. Now I did use a slightly larger gauge wire than I normally do, and the reason I did that was I had quite a lot of it laying around, and it's just about the largest size gauge I would recommend using. But we have attached it to the controller here, so I'll show you the wiring. Basically is attached there to the controller end, and so we're going to plug that after wrapping it with some electrical tape. We'll plug that end into the controller. As you can see, we have a brand new controller, so we'll take that out of the box and plug it in. That's pretty straightforward. Plugs right in there, and we'll plug the power supply in and go test it out. And it's all wired up, so let's give it a test. As you can see there, it's working pretty well.